Welcome everyone to this year's Evening of Inspiration. While we miss the opportunity to gather together in person, we are excited to have the opportunity to gather together digitally and continue to uplift one another and spread inspiration. We are also excited for the opportunity that this digital venue gives us to take you on a world tour of friendship. Now, some of you might be new to Friendship Circle, and some of you might have been part of our Friendship Circle family here in Chicagoland since back in 2006 when we set up shop. Some of you may be involved in one Friendship Circle program, and some of you may be involved in many programs and many of our events. But whatever your involvement or connection, many people might think, this is what Friendship Circle is, or this is what Friendship Circle does. We're really excited tonight to be able to present to you 5 different friendship circles and their innovative solutions for promoting inclusion in their communities. You'll see that even though friendship circles are all based on the same model, we really have the freedom to serve the unique needs of our community by thinking outside of the box and being as creative as we can. We're going to kick things off in West Bloomfield, Michigan, where Friendship Circle originated and is booming there today. We're going to take you down to Los Angeles. We're going to hit up Cleveland, Ohio. We're even going to go down under to Sydney, Australia, and we'll wrap things up with our friends down the road in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Then from here in Chicagoland, we're going to hear from our own Friendship Circle family, a dear volunteer, Sarah Resnikov, and also a Talmud Torah enthusiast, Matilda Schwartz. So thank you for joining us. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a world tour of friendship.
The building, called Lifetown, was completed in 2005, funded by donors who'd been awed by the Friendship Circle phenomenon. Like here in a simulated village, kids are taught essential life skills like how to follow traffic signs and exchange money for goods.
Only $4?
You want to make sure you get all along the gum line.
Basi and Levi Shem Tov are followers of Menachem Schneerson, the prominent rabbi of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, who had a core belief that all souls are alike. In 1994, Basi and Levi were newlyweds in their early 20s.
Rabbi Schneerson taught us the beauty of a person's inside, to really look into a person and realize, what is this person? This person is really very similar to myself. So that was the driving force of what could we do to help somebody else.
The Friendship Circle isn't about research, it's about the execution of the simplest of plans, connecting the souls of those who have trouble making friends with those who know how to.
We got to build a building. We realized that these kids, all they needed was to give them the chance to learn life skills, and have a comfort level in things that we take for granted. The parents go through serious emotional pain and suffering when they see their child unable to do the simplest of tasks. We don't understand the trauma that some of these children have going to a movie theater. Lifetown. We need a Lifetown. We need Lifetown.
Fortunately, in the audience at that dinner when the Lifetown dream was first shared was the grandfather of 2 teen volunteers who had come to play a key role.
Levi, I liked him right away. He said, I had a dream, someday I'm going to have something like this. And I went up to him and I said, let's make a deal, buddy. And we did it.
And then the rest is history.
Thank you for inviting me to join you tonight. All of us here at Friendship Circle of Michigan celebrates the space you have created for community and connection in Chicagoland. It's amazing to see how much Friendship Circle has grown from its humble beginnings in the living room of the first apartment my husband Levi and I shared, to today with more than 90 Friendship Circles worldwide. Friendship Circle continues to be a powerful source for inclusion and friendship in the world, thanks to all of your hard work. In our vision, we did not foresee an organization with 90 branches and beautiful communities like yours. Instead, we saw a vision of one person being helped by someone else who saw them for their neshama, the soul they have inside, and not for the labels and challenges that they may possess. In 1994, children with special needs were not recognized in the way that they are today. Many felt isolated and in need of meaningful socialization. We wanted to do something to help where we could. We started with 8 volunteers meeting 4 families each week to provide support and friendship. It was that simple. Kids with special needs need friends. We started by matching teens to volunteers to be those friends. Around year 4 or 5 is when we had our big aha moment. The teens were experiencing equal or maybe even a greater connection from their friendship. What we learned is that these relationships were creating a place for the teens to feel accepted for who they truly are and to know that they matter in this world. It was a soul-to-soul connection between the children with special needs and the teens, beyond the labels, expectations, and outward appearances. Both felt like they were part of something special, in a place where they truly fit in. As our work grew, so did our kids, growing into teens themselves and needing to navigate the ins and outs of daily life. Lifetown was born. Lifetown is a specially designed, indoor, true-to-life village, home to our Lessons for Life program. Staffed by adult volunteers, Lessons for Life teaches young people how to wait in a doctor's office, follow traffic signs, exchange money for goods, and a host of other real life skills in a safe and controlled environment. Through these lessons, students learn communication, problem solving, money management, and socialization. The Lessons for Life program has been recognized for its curriculum and 2 evidence-based studies that validate the effectiveness in the field. In 2018-19 school year, we unfortunately missed a year, the program saw participation from 2,500 students, 84 public and private schools, and 40 school districts across Southeast Michigan. But beyond the numbers, the spirit of inclusivity is being fully expressed in Lifetown with our special needs population and local school children, socializing and interacting with our adult volunteers and each other in a real life setting. Friendship Circle of Michigan may have pioneered and developed the first Lifetown concept, but that was just the beginning. There are several incredible Lifetown centers across the country. At Friendship Circle, our focus has always been on that one individual, their worth, their purpose, and their journey. We continue to develop programs and outreach to whomever comes through our doors and needs to hear that they have inherent value and they matter in this world. Another program we have pioneered that we hope to have the same impact as Lifetown is called You Matter. You Matter brings attention to the misconception that teens who appear to be perfect on the outside cannot be suffering on the inside. We connect to teens who suffer from depression, anxiety, food, or other mental health struggles. And we tell them that they possess inherent value, that their mere existence can make a difference in the lives of others, a difference unique solely to them, a distinctive imprint only they can make, that they play a vital role in this world. Friendship Circle embodies the essence of the teaching of the Lubavitcher Rebbe of blessed memory, who said, The very fact that you are here in this place at this time and with these opportunities available to you means that there is something to be done, something that only you can do, something of utmost importance to God. Please watch this special video.
Some people believe they don't fit in anywhere. Imagine each and every one of us is a shape. You wake up, look in the mirror, see what shape you are. If you're a circle, a square, a rectangle, a triangle, you can fit into this world. But what if you're an asymmetrical shape with all different angles and zigzags? That thought can be very overwhelming. And what do people tell you? You tell them you don't fit in anywhere, and they tell you, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're talented, you're funny. They don't realize that's not what's bothering you. You still want to know, where do I fit in? The Lubavitcher Rebbe of blessed memory said, the very fact that you are here in this place at this time, with these opportunities available to you, means that there is something to be done, something that only you can do, something of utmost importance to God. When you see yourself as that shape that doesn't look like it would fit in, this message is telling you, you are part of a puzzle. Each of us is a piece. Each of us has to find where we fit in, but it is much easier to look when you know that there is a place where you fit in, and that someone cares that you find that place. In other words, you matter. You matter.
Good evening. Thank you, Mandy, and thank you, Mrs. Basi Shem Tov and Rabbi Levi Shem Tov, the inspiration of friendship circles all over the world. Without you, we would not be here tonight. Tonight's program was inspired by a family trip that we took this past winter. Children had off from school for a week, and they decided to go on a friendship circle tour. On our way eastward to the East Coast, we stopped at many of the friendship circles that we have not yet been to, and to learn best practices and learn new ideas. And it is out of that trip that we have this event tonight, but in a whole new level. You could probably notice on the bottom of your screen, there's a link for questions and answers. At the end of the program, we hope to be able to interact with each one of the presenters, and we will read out loud your question and ask it to the appropriate presenters. As you have already learned this evening, the soul of Friendship Circle is valuing, realizing, recognizing the neshama, the soul that each one of us possess, and the unique mission that we each have here in this world. From this perspective, we are all equal, we all share the same soul. In continuing to participate here at tonight's event, it's important to note that this is not just something that individuals, or many individuals, have put together programs in their specific place, but there is a lesson for each one of us to improve our own action and our own interaction with others. So when you continue to participate tonight, pay close attention to how you could improve your own life and your own interactions with your friends. At this point, we will direct our attention to Mrs. Miriam Ravnoy, Friendship Circle in LA. But first we have a little introduction video about some of the amazing work that they're doing.
So when I first started volunteering with Friendship Circle, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that I was going to be with someone, with a very special person.
Being a Friendship Circle volunteer actually brought me to find my love for Judaism.
As the volunteers, we help our buddies. We encourage them to do the things that they love.
A friend of someone with special needs is more than an average friend that you have with someone. It's
given me friendships that I probably never would have made. It's taught me to be more understanding.
It just makes my life so much more exciting and so much more fun.
Being a Friendship Circle volunteer and working with special needs kids has taught me many life skills. One of them being patience, something I always had an issue with.
I gained so much more than I give, I think, in Friendship Circle, whether it be with the special friend or how we organize it or everything from the beginning to the end. It just teaches you a lot for your adult life.
When you're with someone who doesn't care about the way you dress, the way you look, the way you talk, you know, where you come from, you really build a true bond with them.
Volunteering at Friendship Circle, I've found myself a lot more patient in my own life and more accepting of other people.
Okay, so some of the many reasons I love volunteering at Friendship Circle is that I'm constantly growing and I'm enjoying the time with my friends.
Working with the Friendship Circle really gave me a passion for working with children with special needs.
They're just so much fun. A friendship is a two-way thing, so I'm being their friend, but they're also being my friend. It's
mutually beneficial, and you create lasting friendships once you put aside the mentality that you're there to assist another. Because if you come in with a willingness of heart to learn and grow with one another, it will become a true friendship.
It's the type of friendship that really lasts, and it's the type of friendship that it's really a two-way street. They love you and you love them back.
I think most people see volunteering with a kid who has special needs is as they are helping them. The biggest thing I've realized is that they're helping you just as much. They help you realize a lot about yourself, and they help you grow more than anything can help you grow. They teach you patience, and they also teach you just to appreciate the little things. They have so much to deal with, and yet they come every day with a smile. And it's become my model for life.
Thank you for that glimpse at friendship. It's always nice to see it from the other end. My name is Miriam Ravnai, and we run Friendship Circle in Los Angeles. We started here in 2003, so it's our 18th year. Exciting. And you probably saw in the video some snippets of our playground. So our playground is called My Backyard. And it was really started with this vision of creating a place where families could come with their kids and have a good time on a playground, just like typical kids, in a safe, all-enclosed environment. And it's really just grown and grown from there. We were really looking to create this adaptive playground, and we did a lot of research. But as we were researching, we were finding that, there are these pieces of equipment that take over these inclusive playgrounds, and they're really not very inclusive. For example, our playground does not have a play structure with a ramp. And the reason is, firstly, it takes up almost half the playground. And second of all, when we went to a park that had that, we walked up We kind of took the path that a kid in a wheelchair would take, and we got to the top and we're like, well, now what? What happens now? The kid can't go down the fireman pole. The kid can't go down the slide. The kid can't, hold hands and go down a double slide. So what's going on here? And interestingly enough, the company told us, well, some people actually call it the ramp to disappointment. So we were like, that's not happening. So we continued during our research. We even, while in Israel, visited a very large adaptive playground there, took many ideas from them, and really spent our time researching which activities would be activities that could be enjoyed with friends, which equipment could be enjoyed with friends, and which activities would give that sensory input and that outlet that all kids need, and as well as kids who have special needs. And that's really how we put together what we call My Backyard. And we were very fortunate that we received a grant to help with the playground. And most importantly, not just for the equipment, but also for the brains behind it, architects who were working pro bono, and contractors, and just many individuals that were very passionate about giving back to the community and creating this environment that could be used and enjoyed by, all kids who have special needs. And one of the beautiful programs that have developed out of the playground of My Backyard is a program that's called Let's Play. So this year, obviously, it's been on hold, but up until now, for the last 7 years, we have been partnering with local schools, and we have the 7th or 8th graders come in and we do sensitivity awareness workshops, and then they spend an hour of inclusive play together with their buddies on the playground. And this has done something really incredible because it allows for the children to have friends on the playground and to play together. And it also allows for the children in day schools to have this experience with a kid that is not typical, which unfortunately in LA, we don't have much as far as options for Jewish education for kids who have special needs. So our Jewish day schools, the kids really have no exposure except for this. And it's really been eye-opening to the students, to their families, to the teachers, to the administration. And we've seen this beautiful ripple effect where inclusion is becoming more and more the norm in the community. And it's a beautiful thing to see the community embracing the kids who have special needs, embracing their families, and really, stepping out of their comfort zone and getting to know them and making an effort to interact and include them, throughout Jewish life in the community. So we've really seen many, many positive things come out of this playground. Of course, there is nothing quite like the joy of seeing the kids, running outside and playing and spinning on the specialized equipment that is fantastic for kids who have autism. We have a bike path with all kinds of sensory stimulus underneath. And we have a water play. We're very fortunate that we live in Los Angeles and we can use the equipment 12 months of the year, except for maybe on the 4 days that it rains. So that is something that we're very fortunate about. We have lots of sun, sometimes too much sun. And, but it's really become this place where everybody bonds, the kids and their buddies bond. Families can come. During COVID, we were able to set up appointments for families to come and have a place for their kids to let out their energy and just to get out from their homes. That was, tremendous for our families. And we do have, now there are other ones, but when we opened the playground in 2014, we hosted the only integration carousel. And what's incredible about our carousel is that there are other types of carousels around the world that kids in wheelchairs can go on, but it's a whole production. The carousel has to stop and the ramp has to be unfolded and the kid in the wheelchair has to be wheeled on and everybody's watching and waiting. With this carousel, it's fabulous. The bar just lifts up, the wheelchair moves in, lock the bar, and everyone's good to go. And you see the kids in wheelchairs are spinning with the typical kids or with their other buddies from Friendship Circle. And they just have this huge, huge thrill. As a matter of fact, we have a young girl at Friendship Circle who was wheelchair bound, and there really was nothing else that she could do. But her highlight was coming to Friendship Circle and getting on that carousel and just spinning and spinning with her sisters and her parents and her buddies and her friends. And it was just such an incredible thing that we were able to give her. She unfortunately passed this year, and her doctor will be dedicating the carousel in her memory because it was just this high point of joy in her life. So I definitely, encourage anyone that is able to have any sort of playground or play equipment to incorporate it, because play it breaks all boundaries. It really does. And believe it or not, our volunteers come, and when they have volunteer events, there is nothing they like better than playing on the playground and spinning and going on that carousel and just being kids again. It's just good, wholesome fun. So we invite anyone that's out here on the West Coast to come visit, take a look, enjoy the playground, get in some water play, some sensory play, some spinning, and, to really just get a feel for what it's all about and how good it is to be a kid again and to connect with the youth inside of you, and, to know that it means so much, not just to, your typical kid, but to your kid that has special needs and that is oftentimes really isolated from typical opportunities out there. So we wish Friendship Circle of Illinois much success, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has, and have a great evening.
Autism is a spectrum disorder, and every child is so different.
Severe deficit in communication, academic challenges, some behavioral challenges.
People look, people stare all the time. Anywhere I go with my kids, I'm judged, and I get the stares and I get the looks.
Esty and myself, we came to Cleveland in 2000 to make an impact in this community, the community of Cleveland.
I got pregnant and was just so happy and, overjoyed.
I was just looking forward to having a child that I could love and nurture and be the best parent that I could be.
She crawled when she was supposed to, she walked when she was supposed to, she was starting to talk. Everything seemed on target.
Hi, sweetie.
We didn't really have much indication that there was something wrong with Taya developmentally, but then the puzzle really started to come together. It was enormously shocking. I mean, there's no sugarcoating this. It was a very hard thing to hear.
Very quickly, we found that there were a lot of children in our community that needed friends, that were lonely.
We decided we're going to bring Friendship Circle to Cleveland.
We felt very much alone. We had, our friends and their kids were typically developing and doing all kinds of things. And here we were, we felt sad and lonely.
Friendship is the greatest commodity. It builds us as people, it gives us confidence, it brings us happiness. Children shouldn't be left out from that blessing.
We started our Friendship Circle with a program called Friends at Home, and we started off with a few children in the home and a few volunteers coming to visit.
Teenagers are able and willing if we can only harness that energy. We have to connect friendship with those children that need it most.
And that really helps a lot because our kids do really well with their teens from Friends at Home because they accept them for who they are and they love them.
The kids' faces light up when you walk into the room and you see how much of an impact you can make in someone else's life.
Showed me how important I am just to come over for an hour once a week. That's the highlight of his week, and that's also a highlight of my week.
They truly become friends.
By bringing in these teen volunteers, we're changing the way society views special needs.
Organizations like the Friendship Circle help that because they expose a whole new generation of kids to children with special needs.
The best thing for us was when we started doing Sunday Circle. Because to have Talia involved for a couple of hours with volunteers and activities was huge.
In a typical situation, my daughter, she struggles, she kind of shuts down. But when she comes to Friendship Circle, she's like the star.
Talia likes people, doesn't always know how to react to them or handle herself with people. So, I'd like to believe that over time she's learning in her own way some good social skills.
You're completely changing someone's life without even knowing it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagofen. L'chaim to all the participants of Friendship Circle Illinois, as well as our extended family of Friendship Circles around the world. L'chaim, mazel tov for all your accomplishments, our accomplishments. L'chaim. This year is a historic year in terms of numbers. The Jewish people started off their nation, our nation, at the Exodus of Egypt. 49 days later, we came to Mount Sinai, we received the Torah, we received the instructions, and we became a light unto the nations. When God gave us the Torah, God wanted a guarantee that we will keep the Torah, that we will forever cherish it and pass it on from generation to generation. And the Medrash tells us that the guarantee that the Jewish people gave to God was that we will teach the Torah to our children. That story, that event happened how many years ago? It happened exactly 3,333 years ago. 3333. Now, there were no qualifications for which type of children should be the guarantors. This includes every single Jewish child. And to that end, Friendship Circle of Cleveland, my wife Esty and myself, which we started Friendship Circle in Cleveland about 18 years ago in the year 2003, we realized that beyond just the friendships, the magic of friendships that benefit so much the children and the teens, we knew that education for every single child, no matter the ability or disability, is essential, not just to the children, but to all of us as guarantors of the Torah. And so Hebrew School Kulanu, which we believe is the first of its kind, was created at Friendship Circle. What is Kulanu? Kulanu means all of us. And Kulanu is a Hebrew school which is designed primarily for children with special needs, but its uniqueness is that it invites typical children as well, who otherwise would not receive a Jewish education, to become part of this Kulanu program, and thereby it becomes a true connection of all abilities, and it becomes the ability for everybody to grow together in an experiential way for studying Judaism. Because just the presence and being at this Hebrew school is already enriching, because it fulfills one of the greatest mitzvahs of the Torah, which is love your fellow Jew as yourself. And so Kulanu began with about 10 children, its first year. By the time the third year came around, it exploded to about 70 children. And at some point, it was clicking so well that the children themselves weren't paying attention to who was special needs and who was typical. We were learning, playing, laughing, and being enriched by this experience. In addition to the children benefiting from this experience, the families benefited as well. Family events centered around Jewish holidays and just other important events like Havdalah making and other Jewish traditions came together. And what this did was not only provide friendship for the families, but this turned into something very special. It made everybody involved in Friendship Circle feel like a community. And when people can feel part of a community, they can feel that they belong. And belonging is one of those greatest gifts that we can have, that each of us can give each other, to belong. And that's what Kulanu did. We hope that this coming year, we'll be able to pick up right where we left off pre-corona and grow this Hebrew school and become perhaps a model for other places where true experiential learning can happen at a very young age, where we overlook our differences and we recognize that we each add value to each other. That was our Kulanu program. During Corona, it was evident that face-to-face friendships were going to take a hit. We weren't able to provide it at the same level as before. But yet, nevertheless, it was important for people to come out in some way, feel connected, in some way benefit from each other's company. How do we do that during a pandemic? And so about September 2020, we came up with the idea of Friendship Circle tailgates. And every month, we put together a tailgate at Friendship Circle's parking lot. It was the highlight of our month. The joy, the dancing, the entertainment, or the sense of camaraderie, perhaps most importantly, the sense of community, that people were still able to come out in the safety of their car or sometimes over their sunroofs, and were able to look at each other, see others come out to celebrate for a common cause, for the happiness of the children. And this tailgate continued every month, and the feedback we got was just amazing in terms of the impact, the joy it brought to the children, to the families. My forte at the tailgate was that my wife Esty told me to get up on stage and dance, and I'm not such a dancer, but you got to listen, right? So you learn new talents in Corona. Mine was to learn dancing, and really bringing the children up on stage as much as possible. And every tailgate was infused with a tremendous amount of dancing. It was a sense of transcendence. Yes, there's a pandemic. Yes, we're limited, but we can really rise above it. We just have to put in the mental mindset and realize that it's all within, and that we can dance, we can be happy in every situation. Face-to-face friendships, I mean, that's key to Friendship Circle. Our mission is, Friendship Circle's mission is to spark friendship, connection, and support for all exceptional children, their families, and for Jewish teens. And so to that end, we look very much forward that as this pandemic is coming to an end, God willing, this coming year, we will be able to continue the programs that we do best, which is face-to-face friendships. But I think it's also important to realize that the value of Friendship Circle is so important now more than ever. There hasn't been a more important time to provide these services of face-to-face friendships for every single child as much as it is now, after what we've seen over this past year. Blessings to all of you to be able to further the mission and to create a world where every single person feels connected and every single child feels like they belong. Yasher Koach.
I'm excited for the bar and for the city. Congratulations. Woo! Your first mission.
We are really excited to join you guys from Friendship Circle in Australia and to talk a little bit about our young adult program, our getaway programs for our young adults, our juniors and our teens. So we split all of our people with disability into different age groups. And so we do lots of different programs, lots of different age groups. So we're really excited to join you, and on to my husband, Sender.
So excited to be here with all inspiring friendship circles throughout the world, and happy to share about what we're doing here in Sydney. So one of the questions I think was, what is Sydney like? And what is the community here like? Well, we're blessed, as everyone is, to be able to start friendship circles within the Jewish community and to be able to rely on those and to call on those deep-seated Jewish values that we each bring up our children with, and that really allows friendship circles to flourish around the world. And particularly here in Australia, we're very lucky because our young adults, they don't leave home to go to college. Instead, they go to college here in the city and they stay at home, and they only move out when their parents eventually kick them out at 25 years old or whatever. But so the young adults are here in the community, and so we have volunteers that start at 12, 13 years old, like everybody, but they're able to continue volunteering with us. And as a result, we're able to really focus on some young adult programs. And we're able to really have these individuals who, they started as teenagers, but they've developed in such a beautiful way, and they're actually able to step up and lead a lot of our programs. And so when we talked about doing overnights for people with disability, and how did that start? Well, the truth is that it started as a result of just the community coming together. And we had a volunteer, it was a phenomenal volunteer. She came forward and she said, why don't we take the group on an overnight, on a Shabbaton? And that's really how it started. And being able to collaborate like that, we found someone in the community who had a holiday home, and that is how our first young adult, that's how our first getaway started. And the young adults got more and more involved. They're on committees to help organize it all. And we've been blessed to be able to call on their support. And that, I think, is the key to success, is when the community comes together with the Friendship Circle organizers and to really make a difference.
So currently we run 5 getaways a year. We run 2 juniors, 2 teens and an adult getaway, and we're hoping to add another one on that front as well. With the juniors and the teens, we go to a place called the Southern Highlands, which is the country. We rent out this massive house. It's incredible. It fits about 60 people, and we have all these adults who volunteer to buddy with a child with disability, and we go away for the week. We go away for Shabbos, and it's the most incredible experience. We have some young adults. Our volunteers are all Jewish. Our people with disability are not necessarily Jewish. And so for some of our young adults, they haven't really experienced real Shabbos before. And it's really the most awesome experience for us. Then for our adults, we were like, well, we need to do something different. And one of the things that we really focused on was that what do people with disability want to do? They want to do the same thing as anyone else their age. So children want to do the same thing as children, teens want to do the same thing as teens, and adults want to do the same thing as adults. And that's really been the focus behind our getaways. So when we go, so what we decided was we're going to go to, we went to the Gold Coast, we've gone to Melbourne several times now. And so we think, well, what would everybody else that age would want to do? And so we go on these amazing trips. We've gone jet boating, we've gone kayaking, when we've gone to the Gold Coast, we've gone to amusement parks. Melbourne, we went and hung out, went out to eat really late, came home at 12 o'clock at night, had a really, really great time. And really probably one of my favorite things was we went out, we went on one of our trips. One of the adults who don't have a disability, one of the buddies went over to person with disability and bought him this like huge thing. I don't remember what it was. And I was like, oh, that's really, really great that you did that. And he says, well, obviously, he says, I'm so lucky that Bailey brought me on this trip. I wouldn't be able to go on this trip without him. I'm so grateful to him. And to me, that really showed the true friendship in it. And really, when because we plan the trips around what everyone would like to do, they've become the most incredible trips. We have waiting lists to come on our getaways. So it's been really, really amazing.
So thank you so much for having us. And once again, it's so nice to be here with all these inspiring friendship circles that we always personally are inspired from. And good luck to you guys in Chicago. You guys are an inspiration and keep it up.
The new venture that we're doing here, we are giving people an opportunity to grow.
Our mission is to make adults with special needs feel productive and included members of society, not to be in the back of a kitchen somewhere where no one sees them.
For me, the community is going to be witnessing high-quality work from people who generally are shunned in the work world, and that's going to bring benefit to whoever walks in the door.
2 years ago, we launched the Friendship Bakery, which is an employment training program for adults with special needs. We needed more space in order to grow. Well, we found the location that was perfect for our needs, and we began the journey of reaching out to people and speaking to people. Can you help us?
Today we're in the process of cleaning out all the trash in the old rental property so that we can get ready for construction for the new Friendship Circle Cafe and Art Studio. This coffee shop is great for the entire community. I think this is going to be a gathering place for all of Milwaukee.
This is genuinely going to be run by people with special needs to get skills they'll be able to use in other jobs.
My son, Sal's 34. There were people who offered him jobs that were well-meaning, but couldn't give him the support he needed. So he comes home from the Friendship Bakery where he started and says things to me like, the people there, Mom, understand me.
This is an opportunity like nowhere else. The hardest thing for a parent of a child with special needs is seeing that they finish school and then what? This gives her the opportunity to move on, to continue to grow as a person. And really, as a parent, I couldn't ask for anything more than that.
The coffee shop and the art studio is open to the public. Anyone can come in here and do an art project, a very friendly and welcoming environment.
It's very good for kids with special needs.
This place is truly amazing. This was a dream. This whole project was not a one-person project. This was a real community project. This is no typical coffee shop. This is a real community endeavor. Coming and walking inside and seeing people interacting with other people and really having this vision come to life is really a dream come true.
Come Come to the coffee shop. It's so much fun.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. We're not as far as Australia, but we're just nearby from Chicago, so it's nice to see everyone. Just to talk a little bit about what we do here in Friendship Circle, Wisconsin, the employment training program that we just spoke about in the video was inspired by a mom who came over to us one day and said her son is struggling to find a job. He gets jobs, he gets the interview, he gets hired, and then within 2 or 3 weeks, always, or at most a month, somehow the job just disappears and they say he's no longer employed. They don't give him a reason why. They don't explain, well, maybe you're not able to do this task, but you need to do other tasks. And she was just crying to us saying, why don't they tell us why? Like maybe I could work with him at home and develop certain skills so he can have the job. And she was really just, just sad about how her son couldn't have a job. And listening to this was a conversation with my wife. And obviously she said, well, we will start an employment training program for adults with special needs. We didn't know what that meant at the time, but we knew we had to do something. So being Friendship Circle Wisconsin, we take our inspiration from different friendship circles around the world. And at the time we took a trip down to Detroit, 5-hour drive or 6-hour drive, and we went to see what they were doing. And it kind of gave us the inspiration to start the bakery, coffee shop, and art studio that you saw here today. And when we opened it, it really had an impact on people's lives. It gave people who maybe were otherwise stuck at home now the opportunity to come to work. Data shows, I know even in Milwaukee County alone, 80% of adults with special needs are unemployed. And people just want to have a job. They just want to have the opportunity to work, and they need an environment that will support them. And that's kind of what we're doing here at Friendship Circle. But the goal is when they graduate, they'll be able to get a job in the real world and get a paycheck. I'll just share one story that happened actually exactly a year ago. It was 15 minutes before the holiday of Shavuot started. And I get a call from one of our participants. My wife and I were together at the time. We're about to, close our phones for the holiday, and the phone rings, which is unusual for him. And it turned out he had just attempted suicide, and he was calling to us crying, saying that he is so locked up during COVID. His group home they weren't allowing visitors and they weren't allowing him to leave. And he just figured it wasn't worth living. He had no friends, he had no one. And he attempted to kill himself because he had no other escape, and he failed at even that. And he was crying. He was like, I can't get anything right in life. I can't get out of my home. I can't even end my life. And we were like shocked to hear what was going on. And we obviously had to get paramedics to the home right away to make sure he would stay safe over the weekend. But the following week, we brought him into the employment training program. We were just starting to, we were fully virtually for a little while, but we were starting to bring it back shortly after that. And he went through the full training program, which was about 6 months. He graduated, and we gave him a job working in the coffee shop. And now he tells everyone, COVID is the best thing that ever happened to me. I have a job I never had. I have friends that I never had. I have coworkers that I've never had. There's just so much in my life now that I'm excited for and I'm excited to live for. And that really is what our mission is, and what employment can do to someone who, especially in their 30s, who maybe never had a job or never had a productive job. So that's why we opened the space. And just for a moment, I'll share my screen and I'll just walk you through our building just so you can see kind of how we run things and how we have our space shown. So this is the outside of our Friendship Circle building. It's in a very popular shopping center. So it's a shopping mall, but it's a very non-judgmental space. Anyone could go in there. It's not intimidating. It's a storefront, but it's very nicely present. And we do programs there fairly regularly during COVID. Obviously, with a lot being virtual, we also were able to do a lot of stuff outside in the parking lot. Like you see here, we did a lot of programs like that. We had lots of friendship parades going on during COVID, and with the big space and the big parking lot, especially with the other stores in the shopping center being mostly closed, it was just really great. This is my backdrop, but it's also the art studio that we have, the wall. It's just a mural that really shares our mission, and this was done during COVID by a group of volunteers and participants. This is our art studio, well, before COVID, obviously, where we can use it for all different kinds of things, everything from art projects to birthday parties, or to an inclusion workshop, which is what you see here in the picture. When you walk in, this is the lobby area. The black desk serves as a reception area where we have a participant there acting as concierge and showing people around and giving tours. This is the coffee shop. Again, operates like a regular coffee shop. It just employs adults with special needs. You could see here, we can also use it for private events. This was, again, obviously before COVID. This cake was a cake made here at Friendship Bakery at someone's birthday party. And you could just see the happiness and the smiles that it creates by giving someone the opportunity to have a job. It started before we had the storefront. We had a bakery, which we rented a small kitchen, and we were finally able to get our own kitchen, like you see here. And we have many different workstations, some unique parts to this space. It's hard to tell from this picture, but the wood tables we made sure did not have shelves underneath it. So if we have someone with a wheelchair, they'll still be able to work, and we spaced everything out accordingly. And that's how we continue to try to make a little difference in our community, by just giving as much friendship as we can to as many people as possible. Thank you all and have a good night.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Reznikov. I'm 18 years old and I'm a senior at Stevenson High School. I have been volunteering with my sister Michelle for the Friends at Home program with the Friendship Circle for about 3 years now. Being a part of the Friendship Circle has made me a lot more empathetic and knowledgeable in terms of communicating with individuals with disabilities. At the beginning, I didn't have much experience with spending time with anyone outside of my own circle, and I was very much living in a bubble without much diversity. However, after volunteering with Maddie for the Friends at Home program, I was able to form such a strong bond with her that has changed the way I view friendship as a whole. Through volunteering at other events, such as the Walk for Friendship, I was also able to grow closer to a community of Jewish people that are so dedicated to spreading positivity into the world, which was also very inspiring to my sister and I. In addition, I've gained a variety of communication skills that will help me in the future, and I learned more about the importance of being patient and listening carefully to truly understand other people's feelings. My perspective on individuals with disabilities has changed a lot since volunteering with the Friendship Circle as well. I've been able to develop an emotional connection with people with disabilities, such as Maddie, and I've realized that although we may express things differently, at the end of the day, we have the same feelings and morals as people. As I spend more time with my buddy, I was able to find many things we have in common despite our differences, and we even discovered a common interest, art. We went on outings together to places such as Color Me Mine and the Kindness Connection, which brought us closer together, enabling me to see the world through her eyes and emerge with a greater understanding and appreciation for people with special needs. Overall, I learned that true friendship comes from the heart, and that simply being a friend to someone is one of the most rewarding and impactful experiences. Thank you so much.
My name is Matilda and I'm 6 years old.
How long have you been going to Talmud Torah?
For 180 years. I make projects, I daven, I really love Talmud Torah. That's all I want. My favorite thing to learn at Talmud Torah is about holidays and about Jewish stuff and about our project that we're doing and about our coloring and about our everything we do. Oh, my favorite part that I did was the bonfire. The bonfire was for a holiday that was coming up. I really want to do it in person. Other mommies and daddies have to send their kids because they have to learn about stuff. Like Hebrew and about holidays and about like Jewish stuff and about like really good stuff. I'm happy that more kids see it because I get to see more Kitty and I get to learn about all Hebrew stuff. In Talmud, I love to learn about mitzvahs because it's so fun. I learn the alphabet because I have to know, I have to read, and I also love davening because I have to read to Hashem. Thank you, Friendship Circle. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone who presented near and far. Thank you to everyone who joined us and tuned in. We're so lucky to be part of a wonderful community here in Chicagoland and also of a broader worldwide international Friendship Circle community. I'm sure everyone who presented tonight can attest to the fact that the endeavors that you heard about take a lot of support from the community. So we want to thank you for your support of our work here in Chicagoland. We want to thank everyone who donated when they registered for this event. And we want to open it up to those of you who see potential for a more inclusive future in Chicagoland. If you have an idea of an exciting new endeavor for Friendship Circle, we'd love to hear from you. And if you want to build and invest in a more inclusive future, we would really welcome your support. We'll be sending up a follow-up email with a recording of this event. There'll be an opportunity to donate, which we would greatly appreciate. Now we're going to open it up for questions and answers. You are able to pose a question to any of our presenters that you saw here tonight. So feel free to put it in the question and answer chat. We have a question for the Kafkas, if you're still with us. What's the most difficult part about organizing your getaways?
I think the most difficult thing was if you don't have enough support with, if you want it to work, you need to have a really good committee around it. And for me, because I mean, we're getting older and the volunteers are younger, having an incredible young adult staff, committee together was probably for me the most important, because they're the ones who actually go out there and they get the volunteers to come, and they're like, well, we know what young adults like to do. So for me, so if we didn't have the young adults volunteering to be on these committees, we actually, in terms of the getaways, we probably have about 6 young adults who volunteer on each committee. So it's about 18 young adults. And if I didn't have them to kind of push the whole thing together, I'm not sure that I'd actually be able to get them off the ground. So the support of the young adults in the community is quite critical for it to happen.
Thank you. For Cleveland, Rabbi Mrazov, are you here? No, not with us. Okay. Pass that question earlier. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Rabbi Stein, you're with us? How many people do you employ currently at the Friendship Cafe?
We're heading towards 25 adults with special needs, but that's not all at one time, obviously. The average participant comes twice a week for 4-hour shifts. So they'll work an average of 8, some 4, and some 12.
Okay, for LA, Miriam, are you with us?
Yes, give me 1 second. Sorry, it's a little bit dark.
No problem. Question is, where exactly is the playground located? Is it land that the Friendship Circle owns?
Yes, So we were really lucky to be able to purchase a very large property in LA. It's in the Pico Robertson area, really in the heart of Los Angeles. And it used to be kind of an L-shaped apartment building complex with a huge courtyard. And so we really just converted that courtyard into a playground, 7,000 square feet, and really just maximized every single inch to really give the kids the best experience that they could in LA in a safe, adaptive playground.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh yeah, one more. They're hard for me to see. Sorry, guys.
After the training of the cafe, are the young adults here at the top?
Oh, so we're back to Milwaukee, Rabbi Stein. After someone completes the employee training, are they then paired up while working, or are they working solo?
So we try to prepare them for the working world. So that's helping them prepare their resume, helping them, to get out there and get a job. We're building relationships with different companies around town to make that helpful. We don't promise them that we're going to find them a job, but we definitely do our best to be helpful. We ourselves did employ already a few graduates who work in the coffee shop as a proper job once they graduate. So some of them will work by us if we have a position, and if we don't have a position, then we will attempt to help them find a job, but definitely get them ready to do it.
Okay, so the employment program is not just feeding into the cafe. It's meant to give young adults with special needs skills that they could use anywhere potentially.
Correct.
I think that's it. Are we done? I think that's it, everyone. We really appreciate your feedback, your involvement, your input, your output. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you believing in inclusion and doing your best to promote it. We are certainly inspired to create a more inclusive future here in Chicagoland, like I said, and we're blessed to be a part of such a wonderful community of Friendship Circle families. Thank you and good night.